You know, we always say this is like the best DAP ever, that is the best DAP ever. Well, here it is. This is the iBasso DX320 Ti MAX. This is $3,499 and it is a limited run edition DAP. There are only 888 units available worldwide. So this is basically like the top of the top of the top of the flagships. This is made to be the toppest DAP. And you know, it looks like it. Just look at the sheer size and weight of this thing. It is only a bit above 600 grams, 620 grams, which I feel is really good for a DAP that is made to be the ultimate. For example, Astel & Kern Acro CA1000T is over a kilogram when you use it. So this one is much more portable from that aspect. We should get it out of its leather case because it looks even better in person than it does in the case. And I think that they did a really good job with the keys. Just look at this. It even has holes for it to cool off. How cool is that? Now, this is how the player looks like. You see one giant metallic DAP. I measured it and in thickness is like almost 4 smartphones. So 4 smartphones thick and about a smartphone in size otherwise, like wide and tall. It's not that large when you think about it. I can easily pocket it, and this is what I've been doing with it because I have been taking this bad boy outdoors. Like, you can't have something so interesting and not take it outdoors. Speaking of interesting, we have 2 headphone outputs, which can also act as line outputs. We have a 4.4mm balanced headphone output and a 3.5mm single-ended headphone output. You can use adapters to 2.5mm balanced and other adapters if you want. We also have the inputs at the top, and we have a micro SD slot, a USB Type-C slot, which can also be used if you want to use this as a USB DAC, and when using it as a USB DAC, it has no delay, and that is surprising. We also have the DC 12 volts input. Now, this has been like the only thing that people don't quite understand. This thing has 2 batteries inside. So 2 separate batteries, one for the analogic stage, which does the signal amplification, the current and such. So it is the part that gives you the power to drive headphones, and a different battery for the digital stage, which takes care of the decoding, the Android operating system. So you need to charge them separately. You need to have the DC 12 volts charger, which comes in the package, and you need to use it to charge the analogic battery, which can hold almost 3 times as long as the digital battery, and the digital battery needs to be charged with a Type-C USB charger. And I don't think you will have any kind of trouble finding a Type-C charger that is compatible. Battery life is a complicated thing because you can run it in the ultimate mode, which basically tells this DAP to run all 4 of its DACs at the same time. And those aren't ASS or AKM DACs, those are raw HM DACs, the most flagship kind of DAC available right now on the market. And this has 4 of them playing at the same time. You can configure it to use only 2 at the same time for better battery life, but you know, you have paid $3,500 for it, so might as well use all of the DACs and just charge it more often. I don't know. The battery is replaceable, so even if you purchase this, you aren't going to run out of battery and have to kill it. iBasso made it in such a way that it is really easy to remove the back port. It takes 2 minutes to install a new battery, like 2 minutes of work. You just order the battery from AliExpress, you take the cover out, you take the battery out, and you're done. Someone could actually mod this to have replaceable batteries at this point. That is possible, so you can carry more batteries with you when you go out. I like that, I really like that, this modularity. We have playback buttons, and as you can see, this is a little stripe that has the instruction for the playback buttons, but you can actually peel it off. I have left it there because I like the design and I like seeing it. You will be able to reverse the forward and the backwards buttons depending on how you're used to hold it, like this or like this, if you are used to having the backwards and the forward the other way around. And now here is the stuff. The headphone output is at the bottom of the DAP. This one is not reversible, so you can't hold it like this. As far as I know, you can hold it only like this. And at the bottom, we have a gain stage, which has 4 gain levels between 1 and 4. Basically, 4 is the 0 decibels, while the lower versions actually attenuate a bit the volume. I would leave it at 4. I have never felt the need to lower it, but you can lower it for sensitive EMs. For sensitive EMs, iBasso also dedicated a firmware mode that allows you to further reduce the volume from a setting in the menus if you install the latest update. It's quite a lot of stuff to do just to be able to drive EMs, right? Well, the volume wheel also has something special. The volume wheel has stepped attenuators for volume, like what we've seen on Wells MacLeod, the amplifier. So basically this means that it has a soft click. I don't think it is audible. It is a very, very soft click. And between those steps, there is silence. There is nothing playing. And when you enter a step, you have to really search for the sweet spot. Once you have reached the sweet spot, the volume has much better channel balance than with any other DAP on the market. So this design right here will have the best channel balance ever. It is going to sound the best when it comes to channel balance. The battery life is debatable. Like, I have been able to get around 6 to 8 hours of battery life using the balanced headphone output and almost maximum volume, but you may actually be able to get a much longer battery life if you use a lower volume or if you use the single-ended headphone output. That is the minimum volume you should expect to get. So around 8 hours is the absolute minimum. I should also mention that the battery hasn't even done its burn-in yet. So you have to run the battery full, empty a few times until the battery meter adjusts itself to the battery life of the DX320 MAX TI. It is named TI because it has a titanium shell, and that actually is important because if you are going to use Bluetooth, the signal is actually a bit weaker than with the iBasso DX320. This one has a slightly worse Bluetooth experience. Also, the Wi-Fi experience is pretty much the same. So if you want to get it for streaming, you should be getting a perfect streaming experience, but not for Bluetooth. I wouldn't purchase a $3.5 grand DAP for Bluetooth. You can use your smartphone for that. Your smartphone actually may even have stronger antennas than this has, because this one has good antennas for Wi-Fi, but for Bluetooth, titanium shell to avoid interference, which means that it will have a weaker signal. It can take one micro SD card, which can be as high as you like. Almost 2 terabytes are available now. Right now you can even grab 1 terabyte micro SD cards from Amazon, which is cool. The DX320 MAX is designed to be like the ultimate player. It isn't designed to be a replaceable DAP that you'll grow bored of after a week of using it. This is designed to last you. It is designed to last you a lifetime, and that is important because when you purchase a DAP and when you spend so much, you don't want to replace it the next day. You don't want to go, I grew bored of it, I want something else. You want this to last you like a few years because it is so good. I keep saying that it is so good. What do I mean by that? What even is a good DAP and what is not such a great DAP? Well, it all boils down to sonics. Of course, the sonics are the most important aspect. As the DAP, it is cool, it is clean. I like the Mango app for iBasso and it works pretty well. But when it comes to the sound, DAPs are really different. Every single DAP has its own tuning, its own signature, and they all have different driving powers and different abilities. They are better at different things. This one is the best at basically everything. With IEMs, it has a zero background noise. It doesn't have any kind of background noise. It doesn't have hissing. It doesn't have any kind of problem. Both the single-ended and the balanced headphone output. I was able to drive with it the Unique Melody Maven Pro, Fear Audio Neon 4, Ambient Acoustics Mod 16, basically every single high-end flagship IEM. And none of them don't have any slight trace of hissing. It's free of hissing. And that is in stark contrast to Astel & Kern Acro CA1000T, which has quite a bit of hissing with IEMs. And I mentioned that about it. Acro CA1000T is best for large headphones, but that one isn't even portable. I joked about it in my review that I am able to take it outdoors. Well, being able to doesn't mean that it's a fun experience. With DX320 MAX, I can actually pocket it. Think about it. I am wearing jeans. I have a pretty heavy smartphone, pretty heavy wallet, and pretty heavy keys. If I put my wallet and my keys in my backpack or in another pocket, I can even use this in my front pocket and it won't bother me. I was used to carrying larger smartphones than this, actually, back in the day. You know, we had really large smartphones back in the day. I don't know if any of you remember the golden era of Nokia. So if it all boils down to the sound, how does it do with hard-to-drive headphones? Well, it has an exemplary performance with hard-to-drive headphones. It's like heavenly. It can drive HiFiMan Heshay 1000 version 2, HiFiMan Heshay 1000 Stealth. It can drive Audeze MM500, even Audeze LCD5, even Sennheiser HD 660S2, or even Meze 109 Pro. Everything is drivable out of the DX320 MAX. This is the dream DAP. It can drive everything. Well, how does it sound then? The hardest question to answer because it is so transparent, yet it has such a well-defined signature. It's like angels are singing to you. And I'm not even joking. Usually we joke when we say something like this. We joke around, we want to be funny. But with DX320 MAX, you get such a natural sound. Like it's extremely extremely natural. Everything about it is natural. Then it has a really satisfying and deep bass. Every single musical note is thick. It has punch, it has power, it is impressive, it has emotion. It doesn't cover the mid-range and the treble. It has this kind of sound that is really natural, but music is impressive, it is outstanding. It can bring a bit more bass in every single thing that is paired with it. It also has a really natural and dynamic mid-range. The Max version has that dynamic range improved upon what the DX320 was able to do. Right now it's even better. It has even better punchiness. Everything is even more colorful. Everything pops to life even better with the DX320 Max. It's like this one is the ideal DAP out there. And if you are wondering about volume control, I have it almost to the max even with some IEMs. So it doesn't have that much volume that you should be scared that you won't be able to control it. I know that some folks like to listen really quietly, but I believe that most folks, when spending this kind of money, won't listen in the 15 to 25 decibels region, and you have ultimate volume control from the start of the volume wheel. Like the first 2 or 3 clicks have perfect volume control, because this is what this stepped attenuator is all about. So you don't have to worry about that. What you should be curious about though is the treble, because the treble of the DX320 Max is smooth, it is natural, and it is very slightly relaxed, but still very airy and still very detailed. It's like a really unique presentation. I rarely hear something that has such unique features. It is perfect. It is like insanely perfect. It's whew. It's crazy good. That is the best way to describe it. It is so transparent, yet so natural, yet it has such a great overall presentation that you never grow bored of it. In fact, it impresses you every single time you hear it. If there are things it isn't relaxed, it isn't laid back, and it isn't boring. It is never boring. It's like, it's always interesting. It is always fun to hear it. It is always a surprise. When you hear the DX320, you go, wow, whoa, this is the feeling it gives me every single time that I hear it. It's perfect. It is like the perfect DAP I've ever heard. So if you want to know how a perfect DAP sounds like, you should try to hear one of those. They are still available, and at the moment I'm making the video review, there are quite a few units left at both iBasso and other sellers around the world. They should still be available for a bit longer, so don't forget, this is a limited run. You can't purchase them once they run out of them. You should check out my full written review. I included a ton of comparisons and a ton of pairings there. I hope that I have caught your curiosity with this one. I hope that you have enjoyed the video. Don't forget, you can subscribe, like the video, also share the video if you want to help me out. I also have a PayPal link in the video description if you found me interesting or enjoyable. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope we'll see each other really soon. Bye bye!